Hey guys, this is Quentin the Warlock, and this is another PvP commentary. Once again, Warsong Gulch. And the reason that so many of my videos are Warsong Gulch is because when I'm gonna make a video, I choose 3 battlegrounds I do: Twin Peaks, Battle for Gilneas, and Warsong Gulch. And the reason why I choose these 3 battlegrounds in particular is because there's a lot of good fights in these battlegrounds. They're not all one-sided fights. Like, for example, you can be in a Wrathy Basin and have 5 people storm a base and only you are there, and there's nothing you can do. You have no hope. And just in Warsong Gulch, Twin Peaks, and Battle for Gilneas, I just find that there's so much room for just 1v1 fights, for you to do what you want, for you to have a great time in PvP. And now that I've just got all my gear, I can just do whatever, and I can just have fun in Warsong Gulch. And I always just do these 3 battlegrounds, record them all, choose the best one, and then make a commentary about it. Pretty simple process, right? So, in my last video, I focused mainly on the changes that will be coming up in 4.2. And just to give a little update on that, a couple of things have changed. For example, you'll know that I was very excited about the Ring of Frost change. The Ring of Frost was going to have a cast time, because I figured I could interrupt that. Well, now that has changed. It's not a change for the worse. It's a good change, but Ring of Frost still doesn't have a cast time. But what happens now is that Ring of Frost shares diminishing returns with Freeze, and that's probably the best thing that could have happened, because just it didn't make sense logically that Freeze, Deep Freeze, and Ring of Frost didn't share diminishing returns. Like, really, my fears share DRs with Shadow Priest fears and, well, Priest fears and things like that. Just like, it just didn't make sense that Ring of Frost didn't share diminishing returns with Deep Freeze, but now it does, and that's great. And mages aren't going to be doing as well as they did before. Another big change that I failed to mention was the spell steal change. And a lot of people have been talking about that. It's been all over the forums. I went hunting, and yeah, I found that change. So, what happened there is that Blizzard originally intended to give mages a 6-second internal cooldown on spellsteal. And people in the forums went nuts over that one. I went looking through the forums, and I found out so many posts just about this one thing. And what mages were saying was that there was a lot of it was about PvE, but there was a lot of PvP talk too, and I only read the PvP ones. And what they were saying in PvP is that mages specifically need their spell seals in so many fights. They especially need against Resto Druids to keep the Resto Druid hots in check. And eventually Blizzard must have just been reading these, and they've changed it now, okay? So the 6-second cooldown's gone. If you haven't heard that, then this is just me telling you now. It's gone. It's been confirmed on the official patch notes. And what is happening at this exact moment is that mages spellsteal now cost 100% more mana. And that's pretty big as well. Not as big as the 6-second cooldown, but that's going to mean that mages will have to be more sparing with their spellsteal. They won't be able to just spam it, I'm thinking, or anything like that. So yeah, that's I'm fine with that change, but that's probably just because as an Affliction Warlock, I'm not getting spell stealed really much. I don't know. But yeah, just that one change, it's not bothering me that much. So I'm just going to focus more on the gameplay of this battleground for the rest of the video. Specifically, at the beginning, you've seen that I used a Death Coil on a Pally at the open air. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to get the Pally off a mount. And Death Coil, though you don't want to open with it, if you feel like it's going to get you a fear off a mount, then that's what you really want to use, because Curse of Exhaustion isn't always going to keep them in range long enough for the fear. If you want an assured fear and an assured kill, then Death Coil is kind of the way to go, and its cooldown's lowered a lot with the 4-piece set bonus, so really there's no problem with using it if you're going to open it up into a fear on a mounted target. So I did some great damage in an open fight, and now I'm just going to talk about the current fights now. So I immediately start fighting a Destro Warlock. And what I especially want to do against a Destro Warlock is make sure that he doesn't get Immolate on me. So I blocked the first Immolate. I have nothing to block the second one because I'm in the Charm. and he gets it off. But the reason why I don't want Immolate on me is because it enables him to use Conflagrate, and I can't run. And then it makes his Chaos Bolt deal a lot more damage. I think 20%. Last time I checked, it was 20%. So, what I'm trying to do is I try to take out a Succubus so I can't be charmed again after the DR runs out. And I succeed there. And my pet immediately gets on to the Warlock. He doesn't have an Immolate anymore. I blocked his next Immolate. And now the fight is just basically mine. He basically has given up by this point. And now I'm looking around for a target, and I didn't actually notice the mage eating in the background. So I'm just going to get on my mount. I'm going to run over there. The mage is weak. I'd be a little hesitant on fighting a full health mage, specifically because just 2 ice blocks mean it's really hard to get a steady dot stream going on, especially with mage armor. It's so hard for me to just keep my dots on a frost mage. But thankfully his health's pretty low, and I feel like I'm feeling more confident lately. And yeah, the fight goes pretty well my way. He goes down really quickly without me losing really any health. So yeah, at this point I probably should have gotten some mana back, but I saw that that Warlock was coming, and though I beat him with full health before, I really wanted to get out of there. I needed to get out of there, specifically because that mage would be coming back any second now. And when he did, I promise you that he would want my blood. Well, like in my situation, I would want his blood. So he would have jumped on me. I wouldn't have been able to live through the 2v1. So I tried to lay a trap for that Warlock over at the house. I got the Berserking and I was ready for him, but he didn't take the bait. He didn't follow me, even though he was desperate enough to use a Death Coil on me. But besides that, I just join up with the Alliance force, and there I see my old nemesis. And unfortunately he gets a charm on me right away. But the Succubus sees better targets and immediately jumps on him. So this leaves me open to just wreck the Warlock, and I'm searching for a next target now. I see a Death Knight, and I'm hesitant towards Death Knights as well, especially Frost, because if you guys don't know, Frost have 2 ways of stopping your spells from stopping your CCs from hitting them. They have their anti-magic shield, and then they also have their Lichborn. So I throw a Death Coil at him because I know he's going to pull me in, and he trinkets the Death Coil. And 9 times out of 10, you don't want to trinket the Death Coil. You never want to trinket the Death Coil, because you know what, guys? 99% of the time, that Death Coil is going to be followed immediately by a fear, and that fear is going to be 7 seconds long, and it is going to hurt. And so just, unless you're going to die afterwards, you just don't want to trinket the Death Coil. It's never a good idea. That Frost DK maybe could have had me if he didn't trinket the Death Coil. Who knows? Because Frost certainly has an advantage against me. They can pull me back after my teleports, and they can keep me rooted. I'm not as bad as most Warlocks because I have Escape Artist, and that gets me out of the route, but still pretty bad. So this Warlock catches me at a bad time. I've lost most of my mana, but I managed to keep him off me long enough for health to arrive. And I just get my dots up, and I use him as an opportunity to get back health with Drain Life. And I'm seeing now that I just haven't been getting mana as much as I should have been. So now I take this time to just take a break and get some mana back. And yeah, let's just wait for a minute. Anyway, now I see that Death Knight moving again. And I don't know, there's just something about Death Knights. I just don't like them. I hate seeing them at the top of the damage boards, and you guys must know that they're there all the time. Just Frost DKs, they're always up there. And my Warlock is really the only class where I can beat them almost every single time. And if you guys don't know the secret to dealing damage as a Warlock, I'm just going to go over this right now. It's that thing that you've seen me do almost constantly the whole video. Soul Swap. You gotta Soul Swap. When I'm not perfect with it, I know, but I'm pretty damn good with it. And when you Soul Swap, you take the person's dots and you just put them on the next person, and then 15 seconds later you do it again. And you don't wait for Soul Swap. You don't want to wait for Soul Swap to come off before you feel like you can dot another person. No. Once all your dots are on a person, in a big fight you can apply dots to the next person, and then wait for Soul Swap there. And yeah, and just so on and so forth until you've got a whole team dotted. And if you put an Infernal in there, you don't even realize how much damage you're doing. So that fight gets a little intense. I know that elemental shaman is going to start casting on me. I get him pretty low through soul swap usage, and then I back out so that the DK can't actually kill me with the help of the elemental shaman. So I take down the DK, and then I go back to finish off the elemental shaman who's been healing himself. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident. Our team is doing really well. We're the only ones with the flag, and we're up 1-0. So I just jump on this Warlock again. I know that my presence in the middle, though there are more productive things I could be doing, you could say, my presence in the middle is helping, and I am getting kills, I'm dealing damage, and that's enough for me. Really, I PvP for fun. I don't really care so much about winning anymore. I've got all the honor I need. I've got all the wins I need, actually, in Warsaw Gulch. I've got my 100 wins. I really don't need any more. I just want to fight people, and that's all I want. And though you might say there are more productive things to do, that's all I'm gonna do. Except if I feel like carrying the flag. Because carrying the flag as a Warlock is pretty fun. If you go back through my videos, you'll see one where I am the flag carrier for almost an entire match, and it's just a really fun thing for an Affliction Warlock. You gotta be good with your demonic circle. And yeah. Flag carrying, though it's not something I do often, is a good choice for an Affliction Warlock. So don't think you shouldn't carry the flag, because if you can make it back to your base, you're set. Alright, so I pop down a circle because I see that the flag carrier is coming. I might need the movement speed increase, and I might need to run. So I keep the demonic circle ready, but then I get a curse of exhaustion, and since he's resto, he tries getting out my curse of exhaustion, so I apply another curse, death coil, and apply a fear, and then reapply my curse. So now he's basically stuck. Everyone's caught up to him by this point, and he's taken out. So I just try to clean up the stragglers. I do a Shadow Flame run at the elemental shaman, and a Shadow Flame run is, sorry, not a Shadow Flame run, guys. It's a Fell Flame run, and a Fell Flame run is basically something. It's a term I made up where you have Unstable Affliction, Curse of Agony, and Corruption on a target, and you just chase after them on foot. Maybe they have a Curse of Exhaustion on them too if needed, and just spam Fell Flame. Because Fell Flame does a ton of damage. It's 5k or so every second, really, and it also has the added benefit of keeping your Unstable Affliction on the target at all times. So it's a lot of damage, and really there's nothing the opponent can do if you just chase after them, spamming Fell Flame. And the only problem is it doesn't really give you time to open up for a haunt. If you go for a haunt, then there's a chance the target can get away from you. So, but try out Fell Flame runs, and often enough, circle strafing and throwing Fell Flames is really enough to bring down a target at low health. You don't have to worry. You don't have to focus on, like, say a guy only has a quarter left, or even more sometimes, and all you really need is a Corruption, Bane of Agony, and then just spam Fell Flame. You could probably bring him down without having to worry about a whole dot setup with even stacks of Shadow Embrace. So I take down a couple people there, and then once again I see the flag carrier moving. My Infernal's off cooldown, so I throw him on the group there and immediately go for the flag carrier. I put a curse on him, and he starts casting on me, and I take this opportunity to throw a death coil, but unfortunately he reflects it right back at me, and that was my bad. I should have been paying attention to that. But this gives him a chance to get away, so I'm thinking I gotta get out of here. His defensive force has caught up to me. I won't be able to catch a Frost Mage on foot because he'll just be he just has his blink every 20 seconds, and even other things to slow me down. There wouldn't be any way I could catch him right away, so I choose to live actually and deal some damage to his defensive force in the hopes that we can catch up to him after doing this and wreck him. So I'm dealing damage to his healer. I've got his other defenders kind of taken out. My Infernal is dealing a ton of damage. He just goes down now, and yeah, I'm just focusing on his defense. I dot the DK, I dot the Feral Druid, and I dot the Hunter Pet, even though I don't know where the Hunter is at this moment, but I figure killing the Pet is a Hunter without a Pet is a lot less stronger, specifically because often enough their pets have one of their main CCs, though that particular pet didn't have any of those CCs. I don't know. Fell Armor got reworked where now you get more health depending on the amount of dots you have on a player. So the more dots you apply, the better, in my opinion. More dots. As the Anixia video said, if everybody's seen that. More dots, more dots. But yeah, So I focused on the Feral Druid there, and that wasn't a good move because that DK was intent on bringing me down. I left him alone. I tried to Shadow Flame him and run away with the movement speed debuff, but I shouldn't have done that. I should have focused on the DK because he basically took me down there. If there hadn't been a healer, I would have had my first death in this fight. So I was just so intent on getting a kill, and just guys, that happens. Like, you just gotta know the point where getting a kill isn't as important as living. And even though I make this mistake, I did make this mistake in this particular video, but I'm just saying now that the right thing to do is know when to push for a kill, because you don't want to die for one kill. You can live and get 4 more kills afterwards. Well, you come back, but you get what I'm saying. That one particular kill isn't worth dying for. So, yeah. So now I decide that I gotta get this video to an end. It's already at 15 minutes, and I don't like putting out 20-minute videos, so I'm going after the flag carrier. But thankfully, I don't even need to, specifically because their flag carrier is about to go down. So all I try and do is take out this healer before he gets to him. And yeah, this is basically about the end of my video, guys. It's basically done. And yeah, so I'm just going to give a quick update. I'm planning on putting out a lot more videos. I've been kind of slacking. I didn't put out a video for almost 2 weeks. And now what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to put out at least 1 Warlock and 1 Rogue video a week. And I'm also going to add a Shaman to the mix. Also, if you have any classes you want me to